Hey there, it's Boots Owen here. This is a built-in electric oven, a very simple model, Logik LBFANB16. Look in the back there. If I turn it on, I'll turn it on first. 1, 2, 3. That fan in the back there is supposed to spin, and it ain't spinning, obviously, so the oven's not getting properly hot. So I've got a screw here and a screw over here. I'll turn it off obviously first. Unscrew them and pull the oven out. So I lifted the oven out, took the screws all the way around the back out of it, there's 8 or 9 of them, lifted that piece of metal down, and that's the fan in there, and it's not live at the moment. So all I did was I gave this a little wobble and thought, well, that's pretty free. So look at the wires, they're connected, in this case brown and yellow. I thought to myself, well, if the motor's spinning freely and it's got cables attached to it, nothing's burnt out, nothing looks damaged, let's turn it on. So it's on and the machine's on and the fan started to spin. You can see it spinning there. So what's wrong with it? Well, probably nothing, probably just the bearing in here, a little bit at the end, was seized. So let me turn it off again. So it's off again now. The bearing in here, in this little aluminium housing, there's a tiny little bronze bearing. You can just about see the coppery, bronzy, yellowy colour there, just between the shaft and the aluminium. And then likewise, there's the shaft in the centre there, and inside this there'll be another little bearing. So all I can do now that they're free is put a drop of oil on them. I could take it apart and clean it, but I'm not going to. Put a couple of drops of oil on it. I'll try and get some in here as well. Oil doesn't affect the electricity. The only thing is it might smell. Get a bit on the shaft, and if that does anything, it's probably a bit too much, if anything. It might smell when it heats up, same as when an oven is new, it can smell. So I'll wipe off as much excess as I can with a tissue. There's oil on top there isn't going to make any difference, and oil on the bottom has gone past its purpose. Let's do that, let's give that a spin. It smells like oil now. What I could do if I really wanted to, it's a bit more complicated, is take these screws out here. Well, really what you need to do is take the nut off the fan on the other side. Take these 3 screws out, one underneath, lift out the assembly, and then take these 2 screws out. They're holding onto nuts, I think, or something on the other side of that screw there. Break it all apart, clean the inside out with a tissue because there's probably some dried in grease in there, and put it all back together. But that's a big job, and so it turns a 5-minute or a 10-minute job into a couple of hours, an hour at least. So this is easier. Let's turn it on and just give it a moment. It's on there now. Seems to be spinning okay. Shouldn't get too close to it because it's live. That should be okay. I'll keep an eye on it, and if it stops spinning, if the oven doesn't come up to temperature, then we know we've got a problem. What was strange was, in this case actually, the oven was coming up to temperature. When I put the oven thermometer inside, it was only getting up to 100. I could tell that it wasn't cooking correctly. It was only getting up to about 100, 110 instead of 250 where I had it set at the maximum, because I thought it's certainly not working at 180, it's not getting hot enough. So at 250 it was about half that temperature, so it needs this fan to blow the heat around the element. But it seems like the thermostat, which is, I think that's the thermocouple there, shouldn't touch it when it's live. I think that is somewhere near the element, I guess, or something, because otherwise it wouldn't, the yellow light on the front wouldn't have come on. So there we go. I'll put the back together, and that's really all there is to it, but a drop of oil on the bearing seems to have done it in this case. So I have it installed again. Let's turn it on. You can see the fan blades there. Light on, fan on, and oven on. And I'll leave that to cook for maybe an hour and just see if there is any oil on it. It makes a smell rather than putting something in there that I want to eat. Let's close it up and leave it to heat up. 200 or so should do it. Questions or comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching. See you later.